This episode is brought to you by DistroKid.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
It's Throwback Thursday.
Hey everybody, it's Throwback Thursday again, and to be honest, we're not throwing it back that far this week. The Less Than Jake Summer Circus tour is coming up soon, and we're doing a month here packed with episodes featuring songwriters from the tour. One of those bands is Fishbone, and we just had Angelo Moore on the show back in February to discuss Party at Ground Zero. This episode is a lot of fun, so here it is again in case you missed it the first time. Oh, and today is May 15th, so in case you want to share some trivia with your friends, here are some things that happened today in music history. On May 15th of 1963, the Rolling Stones signed with Decca Records, the same label that turned down the Beatles the year before. On May 15th of 1982, Ebony and Ivory from Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney hit #1 in the United States. On May 15th of 1984, Lionel Richie started his Can't Slow Down tour with opening act Tina Turner. It's a pretty good opening act. On May 15th of 1990, Mariah Carey released her first single, Vision of Love, which eventually went to #1, and she obviously became one of the biggest artists of the 90s. On May 15th of 1993, Janet Jackson's That's the Way Love goes to #1 in the US and stays there for 8 weeks, longer than any of her other singles or any of her brother's singles. I think that's wild. I always tell people that Janet had more hits than Michael, and they don't believe me, but I'm pretty sure that's true. If it's not, she at least had a bigger hit than Michael ever had. I don't know. Discuss it amongst yourselves. And on May 15th of 2001, after a long hiatus, Weezer released their third album, better known as the Green Album. This is the album with Hash Pipe and Island in the Sun on it. If you love music history and just fun music talk in general, maybe head to ChrisDeMakes.com. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, so on to the episode. From February 17th of 2025, this is episode 245 of Chris DeMakes A Podcast. Angelo Moore discusses Fishbone's Party at Ground Zero.
Hey everyone, today's guest is Angelo Moore, lead vocalist and saxophonist for the Los Angeles, California rock band Fishbone. Together, we break down the writing, recording, and inspiration behind the band's first ever recorded single, Party at Ground Zero, which was also included on their 1985 self-titled EP. A moment ago, I referred to Fishbone as a rock band. Well, that's a blanket statement, as you can't possibly pigeonhole this band. They take elements of ska, punk, funk, rock, soul, blues, dance, pop, reggae, calypso, and probably a few other styles I'm forgetting. Throw them into a blender and sit back to see what happens. Fishbone were not only ahead of their time, they were barely out of high school when this song was put to tape. Producer David Kahn's resume speaks for itself, having worked with such heavyweights as Sublime and Paul McCartney, and his production here is awesome. 40 years later, and this is still one non-stop party. I told Angelo, and went on record as saying, Party at Ground Zero is my all-time favorite ska punk song. It doesn't get much better than this. So for all this and a nod to Saturday early morning cartoons, sit back and get ready to party.
Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes A Podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes A Podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes A Podcast.
Angelo, I'm just going to jump right in and tell you, I didn't realize that this was Fishbone's gateway to the world, Party at Ground Zero. I did not know this was your first single. I knew it was on the first EP. And I just have to ask you, how did you and your bandmates come up with just such a raucous, amazing arrangement, one of the most catchiest songs? And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is my favorite ska punk song of all time.
Okay, well, thank you, man.
Take me back to sitting in that, I don't know, garage or warehouse space, wherever you created this. And how did this, I'm going to call it a masterpiece. How did this come about?
Well, Kendall Jones was playing the riff. I don't know which one of us came up with the horn part because that's the staple. Mm-hmm. I guess it was kind of like a blues-based New Orleans kind of thing when we were coming up with it. And when Kendall was writing the lyrics, you know, Kendall's always writing some apocalyptic type of shit. He's always writing some futuristic, apocalyptic type of shit. You know, the world's coming to an end and here's why. And so he wrote a song. He wrote the lyrics. I wrote the bridge. He wrote the lyrics. Damn, who wrote that horn part? Maybe Chris. I don't know. Fuck, I can't remember, man. But we just started playing that, man. We were playing it in the bedroom, actually, with Norwood and Fish's bedroom over there on off of Cadillac and La Cienega. And we were in rehearsal. You know, I would catch the bus from Woodland Hills every day, 2.5 hours into L.A., because they were in the middle of the mid inner city busing program, right? So they'd bus everybody out from the LA into the valley and back, and I was already in the valley, so I'd catch the bus out there after school to get with the guys and sit in the bedroom for like about 3 to 4 hours after school and just sit around and jam out and noodle around, and that's where that song came up, man. Came up in the bedroom, like all children are created.
We're talking, you said after school, so you're like 16, 17, 18 years old at this point?
Yep, something like that.
That's incredible, because I know what I was writing at 16 or 17, and most of my friends, what they were writing. And you always get, you know, we've seen these virtuosos, these 8-year-old children that can play blues like Stevie Ray Vaughan. You're like, how are they channeling this? You know, there are people like that, but it seems like you found a whole group of people like that, yourself included. This song is incredibly intricate. I went back, I was unaware, Angelo, there was a demo of the song that you guys had released at some point called Pink Vapor Stew.
Pink Vapor Stew, yeah. And that's the first version. That's the first name, actually. The name of it was Pink Vapor Stew in the beginning. That was my title, because I thought to myself, well, when the world comes to an end, or our society, and the bombs drop and we got a dictator, and, well, wait a minute. Am I talking about now, or I'm talking about then? Actually, it was back then, talking about times like now. Okay, so we got a dictator, Trump, Putin, same thing. Everybody's like, fuck that. And then the war breaks out, the bombs drop, and so there's blood in the street, and everything turns into Pink Vapor Stew. And Pink Vapor Stew is almost like some Bible type shit, you know, because I grew up Jehovah's Witness, man. So all I was doing was reading the Bible and reading all the stuff that the Bible has to offer, and some of the apocalyptic times that the Bible talks about in Revelation. The blood will run in the street, people die, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. And so that was the subject matter to start. Please do not fear, because Fishbone is here to say, just have a good time. The stop sign is far away. The stop sign meaning the bomb. The toilet has flushed, and when the toilet flushes, all the shit goes down. It goes down and out and wherever. And green lights are ghosts. Green lights are ghost. Meaning the green lights, they're ghosts. They ain't no more. They're not green. They're no more. And drop drills will be extinct. So that means it ain't no drop drills. It's the real deal. Speed Racer Cloud has come. The Speed Racer Cloud is the mushroom cloud. Speed Racer Cloud has come. They not know what they've done. Sin has just won. Planet Earth is a crumb, right? And the world will turn. Party at Ground Zero. A B movie starring you. And the B movie is like when you see Godzilla and all that. Like the B movies and the town's getting crushed. A B movie starring you, and the world will turn to flowing Pink Vapor Stew.
You see me sitting here shaking my head because did you realize at the time, and I'm not patronizing you, I'm not kissing up. Did you realize how much art was going on here and how ahead of your time you were with this song, or were
No.
you just kids writing?
We were just kids writing. We were unaffected by borders back then. We were unaffected by genres and borders and what kind of music you're supposed to, what if you're a certain culture, what kind of music you're supposed to play to a certain particular kind of people on whatever kind of radio station. So we weren't affected by any of that at that time. And so we were just playing and writing because we simply liked music, period.
Well, and if you look at the bands that you guys were playing with back then, I mean, you would jump from Beastie Boys to the Chili Peppers to Jane's Addiction to the punk acts to the ska bands. I mean, you know, it was really hard to pigeonhole the band because especially something like this music, you know, I said it's my favorite ska punk song, but it's so much more than that.
Well, yeah, it's blues, man. There's a lot of swing and blues and stuff like that, and Mardi Gras up in there, yeah.
Yeah, I hear Jamaican, I hear Hawaiian type vibes with the guitar. I hear old rock and roll in the guitar solo. We're gonna get to all this. I'm excited, man, because this is incredible.
Yeah, well, that's been the one that we play. We've been playing it every night ever since the band started, man. I could probably count the times on one hand that we haven't played that song live.
Well, the demo, you know, Pink Vapor Stew, when I went back, everything's there. You know, I just kind of feel like maybe producer David Kahn just kind of brought everything together when you guys got in the studio, because I even read some comments. Some people say, oh, this is the best version. You know, I prefer the version we're going to break down from the record. I think it took everything from the demo, but man, there is an energy here. I feel like I'm in the room with you guys. This was recorded 40 years ago. It sounds urgent. It sounds awesome. Want to comb through it. The song is 6 minutes and 31 seconds. I know in the video, the whole intro was about 1 minute and 12 seconds. I think it was chopped. It just started when the fast ska guitar came in. But the intro is a little tom roll and a bass slide in that brings us into the track. The intro is 44 bars that has this super suspenseful vibe, Angelo. It's like the theme song for a 60s or 70s detective show.
Yeah, like Get Smart.
Yes, yeah.
Think about this, man. Think about all the cartoons that you were looking at that time, right? Johnny Sacco, oh God, man, it's endless. Bugs Bunny, all the Warner Brothers tracks, Carl Starling, all that type of stuff.
What was the one with the sheriff? I tear those Mises to pieces. What was that one? That was another one.
Oh, I tear those Mises to pieces. Damn. Yeah, but that too. That too. Tom and Jerry, all that music. So all that music during that cartoon era, because that's all I know, that's all I watched during that time. And I'm pretty sure all the rest of the fellas were looking at all the cartoons and stuff. All that music was soaking in anyway. So when we started to play music, when we started to play it back, a lot of that stuff was coming back out of us, right along with all of the jazz that we grew up on and the funk and the soul. we didn't discover ska and reggae till later on down the line.
In one breath, someone that hears this for the first time might say, well, how is this connected to the next part? I can't imagine this song without the beginning. It's just this ramp up for a minute and 10 seconds before all you know what breaks loose. And it just turns into this, after that, a 5-minute party. But from that point, the first 4 bars are drums, bass, and a stereo guitar lick. That lick I'm calling the hook.
That yes. Right, yeah.
Which is very nursery rhyme, cartoonish.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. And if you look back at nursery rhymes, what were they designed for? They were designed for us to remember them. They were all 3 notes. They were all super easy, and this is very indicative of that. Bars 9 through 12, I hear a theremin joining the party.
It was a keyboard at the time because I didn't discover the theremin at that time.
You didn't? Wow.
I discovered the theremin when Fishbone did Chim Chim's Badass Revenge.
It was that late, because Chim Chim's wasn't until, 94?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
I thought that was the theremin there. Okay. On the back half here of the intro, we get this atmospheric, spacey synth that is there along with that keyboard part that I thought was the theremin. And then a really fast strummed guitar that sounds kind of Hawaiian Jamaican. I'm like, again, from the beginning the song starts, there's all these flavors coming in just constantly.
Yeah, the jazz horns. Ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba da da. That's Get Smart. Da da da. Dun 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 diddle 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 ba ba ba. And plus, man, we were listening to a lot of rockabilly at the time too. A lot of rockabilly. Reverend Horton Heat, the Blasters, Johnny Burnett, Screaming Jay Hawkins, Chuck Berry.
Were you guys ever into Dick Dale?
Yeah. I mean, Dick Dale was in the picture. He wasn't up in the forefront, but I know that he was in our world of music listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was interesting. He had the rockabilly, but he was more surf.
He was more surf,
I would consider. Yeah, which was cool. After the part that we were calling the Get Smart part, that fast guitar, we get 4 bars of a super funky organ before it all comes crashing into this descending guitar riff, which then the next song pretty much starts. It's followed by upstroke clean guitar along with bass guitar and drum stabs to bring us in to chorus 1, the first chorus.
Party at Ground Zero, every move is starring you, and the world will turn to flowing pink paper stew.
It just cranks up. I mean, the BPM goes up to the tempo probably goes up 5 or 6 or more clicks here. It really bumps up, and that guitar. And then when it comes down, the first vocals you hear, and you kind of started talking about them earlier, but I'm going to read them. And if you don't mind setting them up for us, what's happening here, Angelo? Party at Ground Zero, a B movie starring you, and the world will turn to flowing pink vapor stew. And Angelo, until I Googled these, for all these years, the last 35, how many years I've listened to your wonderful band, I thought it was Pink Vapors 2.
No.
Pink Vapor Stew is so much better because we used to hear about that stuff because, Russia was supposed to nuke us in the 80s, man. Excuse me, the Soviet Union.
Yeah. Oh, God. The Soviet Union, Russia. Yeah, same shit. Them.
But we heard that. I remember hearing stories of we're all going to turn into liquid if this bomb came. And as a 10-year-old kid, that's pretty hard to fathom.
That's some crazy, scary shit. But luckily that the music is the part that uplifts from the horror story that we're talking lyrically.
Well, isn't that funny with ska music? You could have these lyrics like this, but if you're just listening to this song and not paying attention to lyrics, it's the biggest party you've ever heard.
Oh, it's the biggest party ever.
And I've always loved that juxtaposition / contradiction of music within ska. It's like, oh, we can have these really depressing lyrics on the surface, but man, the music.
The blues, man.
Right, yeah.
That Party at Ground Zero is the blues, believe it or not. And when you listen to a lot of old blues stuff, Howlin' Wolf, Louis Jordan, all that type of stuff, man. Screaming Jay Hawkins. Oh man, the list goes on when it comes to like old blues. But that's what that is.
They used to throw a microphone up to those cats and they would play. There was no overdubs. That was what was coming out of their soul, and that's
straight on through.
That's why people felt that so hard. It was absolutely real. This beginning chorus, okay, it's just hi-hat along with unison and harmony vocals. It is so absolutely killer.
And you know what, David Kahn, when we were putting together those harmonies, from what I remember, because I'm pretty sure every band member has their own interpretation of what happened, but what I remember, David Kahn was coming from like an African harmonies style configuration when he put together those harmonies for Party at Ground Zero, or at least he was assisting us in putting it together. So he had us add a couple of notes or whatever, and it kind of reminds me of like Paul Simon, that kind of stuff that Paul Simon be doing with some of the African cats like Gumboots or
I know, and
like
do you know who else would use harmonies like that? Was Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. He's another one that had those weird I call them weird harmonies. They're not the typical thirds that you hear. But in this song, and I'm so glad you brought this up, because that was be my next question. Is there like just a one note at some point, like not just like na 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 na. It's not changing notes in there, and
after the word "you," then it changes, but it stays the same all the way. Party at Ground Zero, Party at Ground Zero, AB, move it, da 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 da, and the world would turn to us too. Right, so yeah, it's got that thing where, and you know what it reminds me of, like some of the Catholic choirs.
Yeah.
Some of the like how the choirs will sing, and you got that one note that just stays straight through there. Fat Mike does a lot of that type of shit too.
He does. Well, after the Pink Vapor Stew, we get a really spirited wow from Angelo.
Yeah, right. And then the drum roll, which is like the guns firing. Then we in there.
And then this is, to me, this is the song, this hook. This is the part. It's a 16-bar musical interlude. It's the horn hook. It's the hook of the song. The whole band is in.
Yeah, the hook, yeah.
Drums, bass, upstroke guitar, horns. On bars 9 through 16, the horns get a bit funkier on that back half than the first half. And again, my notes here, I just have, what a hook with an exclamation point.
Oh, yeah, the hook. Yeah, the horn line, yeah. Horn line, man, totally Mardi Gras.
You're totally Mardi Gras. It's one of 4 times it's in this song. That's a lot in a song, and the reason it's a lot is because it's just so integral. It's such a great part, and we get into what I'm calling verse 1.
Listen up here, 'cause this one is here. Hey, just have a good time, but sometimes it's far away. The toilet has flushed, and we lost our goals, and doctors will be in sick. Stress and all is coming, and I know what they've done. So there's just one kind of dirt that's a cry.
Tell me what's going on here.
Lay him on me, man. Lay him on
much.
me. Let me hear him back. Shit, because when I'm singing them, it is just turned into a sound at this point for me.
Well, this is poetic.
But read the words back. I like hearing them back from other people. Go ahead.
This is poetic genius. Please do not fear, 'cause Fishbone is here to say. Say what? Just have a good time. The stop sign is far away.
That's right.
The toilet is flushed and green lights are ghost, and drop drills will be extinct. Speed racer cloud has come. They know not what they've done. Sin has
They
just
not
won.
know what they've done.
Yeah, they not know what they've done. Sin has just won, and the earth is a crumb.
Planet Earth is a crumb.
Planet Earth. Okay, Planet Earth is a crumb.
Yeah. Hopefully, man, when people hear these words, hopefully they can listen to that and they can go, wow, that is really horrible. Let's make sure that just doesn't happen. Those were our intentions. Writing stuff like that, man. Those were our intentions. It's like, hopefully people will hear this and they go, oh, we don't want that to happen. Thanks for reminding us that we don't want that to happen to us. We want to stay here and be alive and live and love and blah, 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 and all that stuff, all the good stuff, man.
Well, and not that your fans weren't, a lot of them, smart or intellectual, but do you think lyrics like this were maybe lost on some people because they just heard the song in the party? Because this is this is hard to digest, man. These are pretty grim.
Oh, dude, it's a drag. It's a fucking drag.
On the line where we get Say What, it's two voices. One's kind of present and one's kind of like off mic in the background. Was that just kind of loose in the studio and David Kahn kept that? Or?
That's loose in the studio.
Okay, I didn't think it was intentional. It sounded just off the cuff. And again, this whole thing feels like I'm at a Fishbone show.
Say what?
Yeah. This recording is...
You remember JJ from Good Times?
Absolutely.
Say what? Yeah. You hear that shit in a lot of 70s type shit.
Old JJ Walker.
JJ Walker.
On the second line, the stop sign is far away. We get a bada bada la. I think that's what you're saying there.
La-di-da-di-da.
Or is it la-di-da-di-da? I thought it was a B sound.
La-di-da-di-da.
This whole part in the verse is just hi-hat and vocals, along with bass and a guitar that's doubled that is following each other in unison. It is just, it's so genius that that's following the vocal. And when did that come about? I know that was on the demo, but like...
Oh, you talking about during the lyrics, please do not fear.
Yeah.
All that?
Yeah. It's jazz to me.
Well, it is jazz. It's straight jazz.
Yeah.
And actually, when I think about it, it's some stuff that Sugarfoot kind of inspired probably at that point. Sugarfoot, man. You know who Sugarfoot is from the Ohio Players?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
Sugarfoot, when he would solo and sing with his solos, that's one of the things that inspired me to put that together like that, man. Sugarfoot from the Ohio Players. Or Johnny Guitar Watson, when they be playing, or who else plays and sing at the same time? George Benson, yeah, all them blues guitar players that be singing and scatting with they solos.
It's just so good. I mean, we're like at a minute and 40 seconds into this song right now, and it's just, the arrangement just keeps getting better. And I'm trying to figure out 6 minutes and 31 seconds how you guys figured this out, because man, it would have drove me crazy. The whole thing is so catchy. I'd want all the parts to be more, you know.
I want all the parts. Yeah.
It's just awesome. So again, I'll say it again. So inventive and cool, and the sporadic placement of kick drum, tom, and snare hits are absolutely perfect in this verse. When you get to Planet Earth is a crumb, crumb is growled. And then we get in to musical interlude number 2. First 8 bars are a variation on the horns. These are just swells that are coming in here.
Oh yeah, ba, ba, ta-da, you know, stuff like that. The intro.
But yeah,
the intro.
It's the intro, but then you go back into the other part. So on bars 9 through 16, you get that the tension happening there, and then the main horn hook is bars 17 through 24, where the horns, again, they get super playful there on the back half. It almost sounds like there's an overdub happening there. There's the main horn line.
You talking about the change. Doom,
yeah.
Doom, 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 doom,
you got
it. Right?
Yeah.
And that's where the trombone solo, that's the trombone solo in there.
Okay, so that's what's happening over that. It's so cool. Well, the solo's next, and here's my next question. During the trombone solo for 8 bars, you say Play It Boy Wonder, but later on we got Play It Goldfinger. Now, I would think
That's the guitar.
I would think Goldfinger would be for the trombone, having his finger on the gold trombone would be reversed.
Right. Doing that whole thing with the trombone.
Play it, boy wonder.
So how did Boy Wonder end up being the T-Bone solo, and how did Play It Goldfinger be the guitar?
Kendall, well, Play It Boy Wonder, me and Chris always looked at each other at that point as Batman and Robin was Boy Wonder.
So who said that? Was that you? Because it sounds like some nerdy white kid from the Valley.
That was me pretending to be a nerdy white kid from the Valley.
Did you plug your nose? Hello?
Yeah, Play It Boy Wonder.
I was like, well, maybe Angelo's going to surprise me. Like, no, that was David Kahn. We threw him in the booth.
Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah.
You remember Snidely Whiplash?
Snidely Whiplash.
Snidely Whiplash. Play it, boy.
Oh,
yeah, see. Oh, maybe that was another character. Oh, God, it's so fucking many of them.
I absolutely love this. Well, right after this part, the Play It Boy Wonder, it's an 8-bar trombone solo. There's no keyboards here. It's just the upstroke guitar, bass, and drums. Before we get into the next part, which I'm calling this the bridge. I mean, this almost feels like a verse, but it has different lyrics. The verses have the same exact lyrics. So I was like, well, a verse could have the same lyrics. I'm calling this the bridge.
Johnny, go get your gun, for the commies are in our hemisphere today. Ivan, go fly your MiG, for the Yankee imperialists have come to play. Johnny goes to Sally's house and kisses her goodbye, but Daddy says to spend the night. He makes love to the early morning light, for tomorrow Johnny goes to fight. Johnny, Ivan, Ian, everybody come along, for our nations need new heroes. Time to sing a new song.
Johnny, go get your gun, for the commies are in our hemisphere today. Ivan, go fly your MiG, for the Yankee imperialists have come to play. Johnny goes to Sally's house to kiss her goodbye, but Daddy says to spend the night.
Yes.
They make love till the early morning light. For tomorrow, Johnny goes to fight.
That's right.
Johnny, Yvonne, Ian, everybody come along, for our nations need new heroes. Time to sing a new war song. And the first time I noticed here, and it could be a different name, but it's spelled I-V-A-N, pronounced Ivan. And the second time it's pronounced Yvonne. Was there a reason for that?
I don't know, man. Shit. Kendall wrote that. Kendall was picking somebody's name.
Okay.
Kendall picked Yvonne, and Ian.
Okay, because it's
Johnny, Yvonne, Ivan.
Yeah, because it says Ivan.
Maybe it's Ivan.
Well, Ivan's the first time. Ivan, go fly your MiG. But later on, it's Johnny, Yvonne, Ian. Everybody come along. So.
What if we called him Janie?
Janie? We'll just make up another one.
Yeah, Janie, go fly your MiG.
I'm going to probably feel really stupid here, but what's a MiG?
A MiG is a fighter plane.
Fighter plane. Okay. I have not heard that term. What's happening here? Johnny's going to say goodbye to Sally because he's going to fight? He's going off to war?
Yep, and so Dad says, go ahead and get the berries all night, son, because you probably ain't coming back tomorrow.
Hey, everybody, we'll be right back with lots more with Angelo Moore after a few words from our sponsors.
Hey, guitar lovers, what if I told you that this fall you could escape to the Catskills and spend 4 days learning from the greatest Telecaster players on the planet? Introducing Masters of the Telecaster, happening September 29th through October 3rd at the beautiful Full Moon Resort in Big Indian, New York, just 2.5 hours from New York City. You'll get up close and personal with guitar legends like Guthrie Trapp, Larry Campbell, G.E. Smith, Carolyn Wonderland, Cindy Cash Dollar, and many more. These icons have played with everyone from Bob Dylan and Willie Nelson to Norah Jones and Mick Jagger. It's an all-inclusive, once-in-a-lifetime music vacation featuring world-class instruction, gourmet meals, gorgeous accommodations, and jam sessions in the heart of the Catskills. And no, you don't need to own a Telecaster to come. All skill levels are welcome, and scholarships are available through Music Masters Collective. Space is extremely limited, so grab your spot now. mastersoftetelecaster.org/the500. Once again, that's mastersoftetelecaster.org/the500. I'll see you there. I might go.
Get your saddest songs together and get ready for a decidedly not sad time at Sad Song Summer Camp, July 15th through the 18th at Full Moon Resort in the Catskills. Join the Milk Carton Kids, Joe Henry, Paper Wings, and more for an unforgettable musical experience just 2.5 hours from New York City. Whether you're a songwriter or a fan, this all-inclusive retreat offers immersive classes, performances, and the chance to step beyond backstage. Every participant gets hands-on time with the artists to fine-tune their songwriting, plus immersive classes and evening performances in a stunning mountain setting. Spots are extremely limited. Learn more and register now at www.sadsongsummercamp.com/DeMakes. Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits, to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with the Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes.
You may get a little excited when you shop at Burlington.
What a low price! You see that? They have my favorite brand! It's like a whole new Burlington! I can buy two!
I'm saving so much!
Burlington saves you up to 60% off other retailers' prices every day. Will it be the low prices or the great brands? Burlington. Deals? Brands? Wow! I told you so. Styles and selections vary by store.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase of 16 weeks, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things. No unwritten rules. And no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free 1-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Hey friends, have you been loving Chris DeMakes A Podcast? Well, spread the love by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't hesitate to share what you enjoy about the show in an actual written review on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it help more people discover us, but we often read reviews in the wrap segment of the show. It's a quick, cost-free way to support us and takes just a minute of your time. Your reviews mean the world to us and help us keep the podcast thriving. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being a friend.
And now, back to the show.
They say the prophet is not respected in his own land. You heard that saying.
I have.
So this is one of the examples where a prophetic group of guys like Fishbone, we put together a prophetic song and message like this. How many years ago now? What'd you say, 30 years?
40 years.
Like, I don't know. I don't keep up no more. 30,
40
25?
years. 1985.
1985. Okay, so we put this out in 1985. It's almost like now we telling the future, and now we're looking at the possibilities in our time, in our society, on this planet, where some shit like the lyrics in Party at Ground Zero could happen if we're not careful. A fucking B movie, man, where bombs is dropping and Godzilla's stepping on shit and burning shit up and killing people and everything, man. Think about all those people over there that died at them in those wars that were going on, man. That's what this song is about. It's about stuff like that, you know. So we want to prevent these things.
In the first line, when you say, in our hemisphere today, we get 6 spirited yas.
Yeah, oh yeah, those hard. That's Dirty Walt, side busting.
Oh, it is? Okay.
That's Dirty Walt, side busting, yeah, because you know, James Brown had a side, remember James Brown had a side buster. Get on up, get into it, get involved, get on up, come on y'all, get up, hey.
Let's talk about that, because that hype man, I always called that you're talking about.
That's the hype man, yeah.
That's kind of like what's going on here in the first couple lines. You have that toasting, and I'm not very good at toasting, but the...
Oh, yeah, all that.
That whole thing. That's happening, yeah. And that's an art form. People that can do that, great. And I've met a couple of them, man. Lars Nylander from Skank and Pickle, he's one of the best toasters I've ever heard in my life.
He knows how to do this thing. Yeah.
He knows how to do it. On the line, Johnny goes to Sally's house to kiss her goodbye. The band just... The drums pick up and it just starts rocking here. The trombone is in at that point. The toasting ends on the line, but Daddy says to spend the night. This whole section in the bridge, the drums, bass, upstroke guitar, and upstroke keys are here the whole time. On the last line, the drums break down for the last 2 lines here, starring at Johnny, Yvonne, Ian. Everybody come along, for our nations need new heroes. Time to sing a new war song. It breaks down again, reminiscent of the first 2 lines, and the toasting comes back here on these 2 lines, just on those 2. It wasn't in the middle section here, which I thought was really interesting. And do you recall how that came about? Was it there through the whole thing, and when David Kahn went to mix it, he left some of them out, or who knows?
Well, oh my God, did David Kahn leave anything out? That's a whole nother podcast right there.
He sounds like he's pretty meticulous. I don't know if he left anything out, right?
But David Kahn, he did a good job, man. Shit, I'm glad he was there. I'm glad he pulled us into the mix. I'm glad we recorded it and put it out so it can make the world a better place. Like right now, I've never thought I would hear anybody break down a song like this the way you're breaking it down.
Oh, well, thank you. No, it's
because I look at this song, like as you're talking about it, I look at it as a noodle. You got one noodle. Now you are going in with the microscope into the one noodle and asking about this little particular granule here that's attached to that granule, that's attached to that hair, that makes the material that the noodle is made up of.
There you go.
And we want you to tell us, Angelo, what it is. I'm like, man, all I did was just go pew whoop, and then there's the noodle.
And you know what? 95% of the time, that's what I hear back, but you never know. Sometimes you get someone sitting here, Angelo, and they'll look at me and say, oh, you know what that was? It was because David Kahn or someone insisted it was this. You're like, whoa, really? And that's what's so interesting and fascinating about this podcast is no two songs can ever be alike. For the last, I'm going to say 35 years. I came around 88, 89, Truth and Soul, around that time, Reality of My Surroundings, when I got into the band, and I went back and heard the EP and everything else. But for the last 35, 36 years, are you saying pizza here? Time to sing a new war song? Pizza!
Time to sing a new war song.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? That pizza is probably Dirty Walt.
Okay. I don't know what he's saying.
That's probably some hype man shit right there.
Okay. Maybe he was hungry and David captured him saying, order some darn Domino's.
Pizza right now, right in the middle of the song, right at the right time,
Yeah. These Fishbone soldiers can't work hungry. That's not how this works.
Man, see, now you got me thinking, okay, what does it say there? Holy shit. Fucking pizza.
Well, I'll be honest with you. At this point, nothing would surprise me in the song. Maybe it is pizza. Maybe that somehow fits into the storyline here. But after this bridge part, we get into chorus 2. And what's great here, it's drums, bass, upstroke guitar, and upstroke keys. And it's pretty much the same thing as before, but the whole band is in here. It's not just vocals.
As the world will turn to gold, remember to play it gold maker.
On the line, Pink Vapor Stew. We get a Play It Goldfinger, and then we get into a 16-bar guitar solo. Now we're in Chuck Berry's world. And what I love about this part is it's just bass and drums and a super loud hi-hat. There's no rhythms going on. So it's just what they would do in the 50s. The guitar player would break into a solo and would kind of be naked there. The hi-hat gets loud though to make up for that nakedness.
Yeah, you just open up the hi-hat a little bit.
It's great.
Open it up just a little bit to create that tension.
Was it live off the floor, or do you remember him laboring over this solo? Because it just sounds like it's just natural.
Man, it was probably a one-taker. Because Kendall was one taking. He was a lot of one taking. I mean, he have to overdub stuff too, but I remember he was a good one-taker, man.
Something else about this song, why I think that it works at 6 minutes and 31 seconds, is because it never gets repetitious to me in the sense, like this chorus. There's no horns there. It's like, where'd the horns go? Well, the horns are really featured in that hook, and they're in other sporadic places.
Oh, the chorus. You talking about when the chorus happens, the horns disappear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's great about that is that, and I've had this, and it's an argument that I hate. It happens almost every record with my band, and it's with the horn players. I'm like, just back off here. So when you come back in, it's more powerful. If you have the horns the whole time, and it gets very,
don't leave no room for dynamic. But I mean, you know what? It all depends if you want the horns to be a part of the rhythm section at that time, or if you want them to just be a dynamic feature. And in Party at Ground Zero, the horns are a dynamic feature, just like the chorus, like the vocals of the chorus are. The vocals of the chorus are a dynamic feature because it's just them and rhythm section. And then when the horns come in, it's just horns with no vocals to distract it. So it's like either or. It's kind of like a pretty black and white song when you think about it.
Yeah, and I still think because you wrote it that you're thinking of it like that spaghetti piece that's kind of linear. And this song is just so much bigger in my mind than it is yours, I guess. Yeah, I didn't write it.
Oh, dude. Okay. There's a version of this song, and it's a dub version.
What?
It's out there. It's a dub version out there, right? And it's like after the whole song goes through, then when it gets to the end, this is not a charade. This is not a charade.
Yeah.
Then it goes, boom, there's the big explosion, right? And then the song comes back in and the song starts and goes over again. But this time, all the vocals are gone. It starts out with drums. Then it's just like bass and drums for a while. Horn splash. It kind of like it's a dub version, man. Because I thought to myself, this song need to have a dub version. And on the other side of it is skanking to the beat on the other side of it. It's like a wax.
Right on. After the guitar solo, it's followed by the horn hook yet again for 16 bars. This is the third time that we've heard it. The back half horns get really playful again. Next up is 4 bars of that high-pitched guitar riff.
Oh, the interlude, the revisit of the intro real quick, yeah.
But this, okay, the riff from the very top of the song comes back in. But what's crazy, Angelo, is how urgent and rushed it sounds here because the intro was at a way slower tempo. So when you're hearing this, it almost sounds like you're playing a 33 record on 45.
Yeah, it gives it that effect.
It really does. It sounds like it's too fast, but it's making you do this.
It's making your brain, it's stretching your brain at that one little short moment. It's like, it give your brain a little quick engine burn. And then back to normal again. What do they call it? Sensory deprivation.
Yeah, sensory deprivation, yes.
In the music.
Well, you're wondering where you heard that from before. You heard it at the very top of the song, but your brain doesn't equate it because it's so much faster here. It's the same part, but you don't have ear fatigue like, oh, I'm hearing this again. It's like it's a new part at that point. After those 4 bars, it's followed by 8 bars of drums, bass, and a guitar lick following the bass in unison for the first 4 bars. Angelo is also chanting hey on all the ones here.
But that's not me.
Oh, that's not you chanting that.
That's Dirty Walt.
Hey, hey. Oh, that's Dirty Walt, the hype man. He's back there. Okay.
Yeah.
Bars 5 through 8. The guitar then stops following the bass. It goes to single upstrokes for the last 4 bars, and the hays get way more urgent. Before, surprise, surprise, we get into the 4th musical interlude, the main horn hook. Yes, this part is so catchy. It's here again for another 16. For another 16 bars, and on bars 9 through 16 again, it gets more detailed and playful.
Yeah, you just lose yourself in that part.
You absolutely lose yourself in that
it's
part.
The party right there, the heart, that horn part. You get to lose yourself in there. So it's almost like we gotta dunk you back into in the washing machine at least 4 times with that one.
Well, we get into verse 2. Okay, same pretty much overall instrumentation and same lyrics.
Have a good time, the time is far away. The joy that has flushed, and green lights are goals, and top fuels will be extinct. Spirits and cloud has come, then I know what they've done. Say that just one, and it goes as a cry.
Please do not fear, because Fishbone is here to say. The say what here is screamed.
That's Dirty Walt.
We didn't have Pro Tools then, man. You were copy and pasting verses.
Say what? That was Kendall.
That was Kendall doing that
Kendall
one.
said, say what? Yeah.
Okay. And on the next line, the la da 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 la 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 la, that part is quieter and it's more off mic. And again, I love that because I always talk about copying, pasting in these days with digital editing. It's so, we'll just take this part from here. And that's not the case here. You can tell that it's a different take.
That was all in the room. Yeah, that's like in the room.
It's beautiful. Again, the same overall instrumentation here in parts as verse 1, but this is no copy and paste job. I had that written in the notes. And the earth is a crumb. That last line is growled again, but it's different than verse 1. That's a different different growl that happens there.
Just a little different. Yeah, man, we try to make everything just a little different each time around,
Here's another cool part, Angelo. We get 8 bars. Again, this is the last horns you hear in the song. We still have 1 minute and 18 seconds left after this, but you get 8 bars of the horns swelling again. Okay, it's the same part that comes after verse 1. Now it's coming after verse 2. From 5 minutes and 12 seconds to 6 minutes and 31 seconds, the end of the song, there's no horns. The last minute and 18 seconds of this song, there's no horns. That is, to me, so cool, but it's so crazy at the same time because the horns were such a big part of this song.
Well, yeah, because it's vocals right there.
If you would have told me, though, before I got the microscope out that there wasn't horns for the last minute and 18 of this, I would have told anybody they were crazy. And I've heard this song a million times. I was convinced in my mind that the horns were there. Now I'm looking at it going,
the horns is going to come in again, huh?
Yeah. And I think that, again, that's one of the many things that makes this song so unique. We get into chorus 3. It's drums, bass, upstroke guitar, upstroke keys. We get another chorus with the same lyrics. This time, it's just kick and hi-hat hitting at the same time.
Wait a minute, though. Every time you say keys, I keep thinking to myself.
So I'm hearing like the guitar. Dent, 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 dent.
It ain't no keys.
So it's just guitar.
Just guitar.
Party at ground zero, every move is starring you, and the world will turn to no thing but blue.
Is the guitar in stereo? Do you remember? Meaning,
probably in stereo.
Was there 2 takes? Because I'm hearing it on the right and the left. I didn't know if it was 1 take. And when I say right and left, I thought over pan to the right, it was keyboards with the guitar doing the upstrokes. Dent, dent,
no,
dent,
no,
dent.
they had just, it was just guitar, and it was, I think it seems like it's straight up the middle.
Okay. I swear that there was keys ghosting there, but if not, then this is just drums, bass.
Then you got the bass on the hard left and hard right. You got guitar straight up the middle. And it was like bass, drums, and guitar, but the keys only come in the beginning.
Okay.
In the very beginning, on the laid back interlude, that's where the keys come in.
Well, again, I love what's going on here sonically. I love the mix. I wouldn't change a thing. This song's 40 years old. It sounds absolutely incredible. I was thinking I was hearing upstrokes. I'll tell you what else it could be. It could be the guitar panned off left, the clean guitar, could be taken over and duplicated to the right speaker and have a pre-delay or a post-delay.
That might have a thing on it. Yeah.
Post-delay put on it that's kind of doing a ping pong with your ears or something.
Now you got me thinking, because I don't ever think about this song no more. I just do it, man.
Well, yeah,
but
you're not going to analyze it like this. You don't wake up in the morning and say, wait, was there a keyboard here?
And
so chorus 3, when we go through Party at Ground Zero for the second time, the second go through, it's just kick and hi-hat hitting at the same time. And when you say Pink Vapor Stew, we hear a whack-a-doo, whack-a-doo, whack-a-whack-a-whack.
Yep, whack-a-whack-a-whack.
Party at Ground Zero, every move is starring you, and the world will turn to flowing pink pepper stew. Whack-a-doo, whack-a-doo, whack-a-whack. Party at Ground Zero.
Where did I get the whack-a-doo from?
And I'm assuming is that you or was that Walter doing that one?
That's me.
And that's you, okay.
Whack-a-doo, whack-a-doo, whack-a-whack-a-whack. Yeah, whack-a-doo. Where does whack-a-doo come from? What cartoon, man? What is it?
Whack-a-doo, whack-a-doo, whack-a-doo.
Schmetley the dog. Smedley the dog. After school cartoons.
It wasn't Deputy Dog, was it? That was one.
Maybe Deputy Dog. That's right. One of them guys. All of that. Oh my God, dude.
I love you so much for this because, man, I think back to when I was 16, 17, 18. I mean, so much of what I was writing about was just silly stuff. You'd like, oh, there's Captain Kangaroo on TV. I'm going to write a song about that. And I did. I would write silly, stupid songs that no one ever heard. I got cassettes of them sitting in here in my closet that no one's ever going to hear. But I wasn't
you gotta put it out, man. Put it out.
I wasn't writing with this type of sophistication. And again, not patronizing, not kissing up in any way. There's just, it's so beautiful how all these elements came together. Such a great song. Party at Ground Zero, a B movie starring you. And the world will turn to flowing pink vapor stew. This time, the whole band is here again, much like the previous time. There's a slight change on the third line, and the world will turn to flowing. There's a cool harmony on "and the world." Something else just right in that spot comes in.
It's a little high note. That's Chris. Chris likes to hit them highs, them high harmonies.
That just gets me. And then we go down, and a lot of times when we break down music, or we're writing, not break down, when we write music, I find myself not wanting to do the most simple things, but sometimes that is the most beautiful thing, And case in point,
simple stuff, huh?
Yeah, it just breaks down
Simplicity.
to breaks down to drums and vocals. Okay, so it's just the drum beat with the vocals, and then the next time it says "Party at Ground Zero," which this again is chorus 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now the 5th time that it goes through. There's still, and at this point I wrote in my notes, still no horns, because I was waiting to hear them come back, and I don't hear them. And then we get into what I'm calling the outro.
Party at Ground Zero, every movement starring you, and the world will turn to flowing pink vapor stew. Party at Ground Zero, every movement starring you, and the world will turn to flowing pink vapor stew. Party at Ground Zero, every movement starring you, and the world will turn to flowing pink vapor stew. Party at Ground Zero, every movement starring you, and the world will turn to flowing pink vapor stew. Party at Ground Zero, every movement starring you, and the world will turn to flowing pink vapor stew.
We get the chorus repeated 2 more times, but then we get you saying, "This is not a charade. This is not a charade. Do you understand me?" Followed by "This is not a charade" 7 more times. Halfway through this part, the whole track begins to fade. What's up with "This is not a charade"? Is this another cartoon reference?
It's another cartoon reference.
Was that Tweety Bird?
Who would say that? Tweety Bird. Elmer Fudd.
Yeah. This is not a
Elmer
charade.
Fudd
Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd had the speech impediment.
What did David Kahn think of this when you knuckleheads were just getting up there and saying this? Was it? I'm assuming this was just
probably just going, let it rip, let it go, let it flow. This is not a charade, and it's not either.
Right. When you guys
and do we want to? I was like, man, I thought to myself, at the end of all of this, at the end of this song, being that we're breaking it down to the microscopic noodle pinch fiber fabric. Stem cell. I wanted everybody to know about me saying this is not a charade, is that this is a real serious subject matter. In my mind, those were my intentions. This is a real serious subject matter. This subject matter is made to be taken seriously, and we should take heed to the warning. And this is not a charade.
Before we break, a couple things. Thank you for taking the time to sit in. This is the 2nd time that you've been on the show. But
right?
Yes.
I was on here before, right?
You were on here before our first season, and we're going on five years now. So you were one of our first. But before we break, I have to ask, take us back if you can to David Kahn saying, "I got a mix up." And you take that cassette and put it in the car, or you go in the studio, wherever you heard the mix. What did the collective, what did you guys think of this? Did it blow you away? Were you unsure?
Man, okay, here's what I remember. Once this shit was mixed, we were in the parking lot of Canner's. Canner's restaurant. You know where Canner's is?
I had dinner with Rob Cavallo there one night, the Green Day's producer. Yes, I know
Right.
where.
Canner's. So we were in Canner's. We were in the parking lot of Canner's, man. And we were blasting Party at Ground Zero in the parking lot of Canner's, skanking in the parking lot. Because once we're out, once you're out of the studio, you're out from underneath the microscope. It's a whole nother deal. Once you hear like the car test and shit. You're saying something about the car, David Kahn and the car test, right?
That's still my gauge. That's my go-to.
Right? Yeah, you go to the car test to check it out there.
Yeah.
And I remember that, man. We were skanking to that shit in the parking lot, listening to Party at Ground Zero in the Canner's parking lot at night.
I absolutely love it. I love every story that you told here. And I'm going to say it again. This is my favorite ska punk song. And I know a lot of ska punk songs. And this song is just the epitome. I would love to someday say that I wrote something as inventive and as beautiful as this. We got some great news for everybody out there. I'll be doing a tour with Fishbone,
right.
Less Than Jake, and Suicide Machines.
Was it Warp Tour? Is it Warp? Is that what that is?
Well, we're doing a couple dates on the Warp Tour, yes. But we're going to meet up with that. But we're going to be doing theaters and clubs with you guys pretty much the whole summer. It's going to be broken up into a couple of legs. And lastly, what else is going on with you yourself or Fishbone you'd like to let the listeners know before we break?
So Fishbone's got a record coming out. I was just up in Oakland finishing up the last of the overdubs. Son of Fishbone, the Stockholm Syndrome Effect is going to be the name of the release. Son of Fishbone, S-U-N. We still shining on everybody.
I love
Stockholm, but we got Stockholm Syndrome. So that's the name of the title, and it's good. So we got that coming out. I have an album coming out, my solo stuff, and it's called Angelo Moore and the Brand New Step. And it's coming out Valentine's. Go to brandnewstep.com. It's called Perceptions, man. It's my electronic dance music, hip-hop, kind of experimental R&B record, I also have another band called Dr. Mad Vibe and the Missing Links, in which I have a double album, art installation release. I presently sell with, at the merch table out there with Fishbone. Dr. Mad Vibe's Underground Contraband Railroad is what I call it. I put that together when I was in Fishbone Penitentiary, and now that I'm out of there, I got Dr. Mad Vibe's Underground Contraband Railroad, which has all of my merchandise. I got the Missing Links double album. I also have 2 coffee table books. One is called Ska Do, Ska Don't, and it's I have a USB card that comes with it with all the music that goes with the lyrics and the art in the book. And I also have that. That's my Japanese release. And then I have a book, a new coffee table book called The Olegna Phenomenon, which is, I would call it under the title of Social Studies. And it's all of my short stories. I'm doing all the dialogue. It has an audio book that comes with it. So it's like a 135-page physical book with text, art, and illustrations. And it also comes with an audio book. So you put the audio book, the USB port in your computer, you pull down the audio book, and you can hear me telling the story, reading the dialogue, and above this soundscape that I've created to create the picture and the scenario of what I'm talking about in the book. Yeah, so it's good, multi-directional reading book. You can read it. You can read it like forward. You can turn it to the side and read it up and down. You can turn it upside down. You can read it from the left to the right and back.
When do you find time to sleep?
Oh yeah, I do. I find time, believe it or not.
Well, listen, Angelo, thank you again for sitting in and making the time today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for putting me out there. Everybody go to madvibe.com, drmadvibe.com, or to brandnewstep.com, fishbone.net. You can see all the stuff there I got to offer that I've been putting together constantly, man. I'm always putting together, always creating. You got to stay creative, man. I always tell people, don't pick up a gun or knife, pick up a fucking instrument.
Amen, buddy.
Musical instrument, man, a pen, and write that shit down.
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Angelo Moore, but don't go anywhere. We got the band you might not know coming up, and then Chris and I are going to talk about this episode. So we'll be right back after a few words from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want is a great feeling. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority is using Google AI to create smarter tolling systems and improve traffic flow for Texans. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American Innovation.
Hey there, travelers. Kaylee Cuoco here. Sorry to interrupt your music, great artist BT Dubs, but wouldn't you rather be there to hear it live? With Priceline, you can get out of your dreams and into your dream concert. They've got millions of travel deals to get you to that festival, gig, rave, sound bath, or sonic experience you've been dreaming of. Download the Priceline app today, and you can save up to 60% off hotels and up to 50% off flights. So don't just dream about that trip. Book it with Priceline.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. I hope you're ready for the most dippable chicken in McDonald's history. Dip it in all the sauces. Dip it in that hot sauce in your bag. Dip it in your McFlurry. Your dip is your business. McCrispy strips at McDonald's.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why My Lowe's Rewards members get a free paint or exterior stain sample to test your look and find the perfect color to confidently refresh your space. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid in-store only, 5/8 through 5/14. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See associate for details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Chris DeMakes A Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's featured artist is Jeremy Ray and the Howdy Men, a punk rock band from Atlanta, Georgia, featuring none other than former Less Than Jake saxophonist Darren Newfer. The band is led by Jeremy Ray on vocals and guitar, along with other veterans of the Atlanta punk scene. Here's a snippet of their song, Xavier's Blues.
I said, oh my God, your father's words, I wish they could have gone unheard. A maniac with a silver tongue and manipulated scars from the wars he won. When he came back home, he had a whip for an arm and it swung.
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
So, Chris, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we could get Angelo back because when we had Angelo on for the first time, he was seriously like one of the first 10 episodes or something, and we were still figuring our show out to a certain extent, and I was glad we were able to get him back now. And for anyone out there, hey, if you're part of our Patreon, you can actually see the video, but most people probably aren't seeing the video, and you should know that Angelo was decked out for this episode. In fact, he was getting dressed at the beginning, putting his tie on. He was looking good for this episode, I gotta say.
Yeah, his suspenders were yellow tape measures.
Yeah.
He's always been a man of style, Chris.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less from Angelo, and I loved hearing about the creation of this song. It's a classic. This is an absolute stone cold classic. And I loved hearing so much about the fact that I really didn't think about it too much before I started doing the research and notes that I sent to you before the episode, that these guys, they were just kids when they were making this. It's amazing to think that.
Well, that's why I went back and asked us. He said we get home from school. You don't say I got home from school, college. It's usually I got home from school when you're, high school, right?
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, 85, yeah, kind of makes sense. I mean, these guys were on the forefront of this sound, but, at the top, I said in one breath, this is my favorite ska punk song, but there is so much more under the hood here, Chris. There's swing, there's rock and roll, there's dance, there's soul. Again, I don't know first song. I know what my first song sounded like. This is the first song they created. The lyrics are just so almost highbrow. I even asked Angelo, I said, how many of your fans, and I'm not suggesting your fans are stupid in any way, but did this go over their head? And, even I've listened to the song for over 35 years. I still had some lyrics that I thought, like Pink Vapors Stew. I thought it was Pink Vapors, plural, too.
I would venture to say that most people listening to this song aren't thinking about the apocalypse and getting turned into pink vapor stew when they're listening to this. But yeah, I mean, the song is as relevant as ever and written by kids. It's almost as if this whole concept was passing through them. I love that he talked about how they were unaffected by borders and by people's idea of what they were supposed to play. He said they simply liked music, period. And like you said, that's why you get this amalgamation of all these different styles. They didn't have to pigeonhole themselves. They were kids playing anything they wanted to play.
They were. And in the demo, there was a couple different things here or there, overall, but the heartbeat of the song, the idea was there. It was a great sketch. And I feel that David Kahn just took it all and everything was in that blender and made it into this cohesive piece of music that we hear here. 40 years removed, it sounds amazing to me. Let's not forget David Kahn has worked with Sublime, Sugar Ray, Taking Back Sunday, Romeo Void, The Outfield, and many more. Very eclectic. But the records that he made, that Sublime record is forever a classic. Party at Ground Zero, the records he did Truth and Soul. He did like the first 5 Fishbone albums. They're timeless. This does not sound dated in any way, shape, or form.
David Kahn, that's a name that comes up a lot on this podcast, and rightfully so, because he's been part of creating so many, like you said, timeless songs. And it's also so cool. And I don't know where he was in his career at this point. I got to assume that he was pretty young at this point too. But it's so cool that he let them be kids in the music too, even to the point where you got influences of cartoons and TV shows and stuff. And by the way, Chris, I hate those Mises to Pieces. That is from Pixie and Dixie and Mr. Jinx,
yes,
which was one of the 3 segments of the Huckleberry Hound show from Hanna-Barbera.
Ah, that was like a little spin-off of that. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Just so you know.
I love that he was mentioning all those references because it took me right back to being that kid, and all kinds of goofy stuff went on in the studio early days. You'd say stuff off mic and sometimes it would make the record, or you'd get mad and say that has to make it. And it sounds like that they were just, again, kids having fun, and it just really shows.
Yeah. And you have this horror story of the lyrics that's going here. It's like sci-fi horror based in some sort of reality, but the music of the song is what lifts you up. That's what, Angelo said that. The music is what lifts you up. I love that.
Absolutely. One more thing I want to mention, Chris. I was going to get into this, but I knew this was going to be a long episode because the song's just so intricate, 6 minutes and 31 seconds. But I remember seeing Fishbone in the theaters in 1987, okay? I had not heard of the band. They were in Back to the Beach with Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello. They performed a song called Jamaica Ska on the beach. And I just remember thinking it was kind of kind of cheesy. The movie was cheesy to begin with. And it wasn't much long after that. I saw Fishbone on MTV on their next record, Truth and Soul, which very cool. Angelo he's always on. Let's put it that way. There's no off switch with Angelo. What you get is what you get, and cannot wait for that tour with them and the Suicide Machines this summer.
That's such a good tour. That's so good. I'm so excited for that tour, man. And I would be excited to hang out with Angelo. I think that seems fun. And that Back to the Beach movie, it's so funny you bring that up. I remember watching that movie with my cousins. My younger cousins loved that movie when we were younger. And I always saw Fishbone. That's probably the first place. Yeah, definitely the first place I ever saw Fishbone. That's so funny. That's so great.
And if the world was fair, Chris, Party at Ground Zero would be a massive, massive hit, enjoyed by the global masses. But we get to be the underground ska punk kids that get to love it. And this song is a hit. It's a hit to me, and it's a hit definitely to their fan base. Hey, go over to ChrisDeMakes.com and join our Patreon. Chris, tell them all about it.
Yeah, our Patreon. That's where you can get, first of all, the second you sign up, you get a giant back catalog of hundreds of episodes of The After Party. If you've never heard The After Party before, you can scroll back on Chris DeMakes A Podcast. Over the years, I've probably put 10 or 15 of those episodes on the main feed, so you can go check them out. We do things about music history. We do trivia. We just basically have a lot of fun. That's why it's The After Party. Also, there's different levels where you can get the video of these podcasts. A lot of people have asked us for that. And, you can go check it out. If you want to see Chris and the guests' smiling faces, check that out. And one more thing I want to stress, Chris, about it is that even if you're not sure if you want to do it or not, go join as a free member. Check it out. I put a couple things on there to check out that you can check out for free. It's all at ChrisDeMakes.com. And most importantly, it helps us continue making this show. We love making this show, and that allows us the ability to do that.
We're not all Joe Rogan and Mark Maron in the podcast business, Chris. We're trying.
We're not.
We're scraping. We're begging for dollars here. So thank you so much for supporting us. ChrisDeMakes.com. What else we got, Chris? What else? Anything else? What do we have today? Come on.
I have a review. You want me to read a review that we got on Apple Podcasts?
I would love to. And we read these for a couple of reasons. We appreciate each and every one of you supporting the show. This helps us because, believe it or not, people do read these reviews. And you know what? We also found out that people like hearing their name read out loud. And sometimes it's not their real name. Sometimes we get crazy, weirdo names. So what do you got today?
That's so funny you say that because this name on this review is LOEIRGHWJRPOIHJT bracket. That is the name of this one.
Well, thank you, bracket.
Yeah. Lower our worship, our push. But anyway, this person gave us 5 stars and 3 gold medals and said, I really like your show. I thought it was just me that likes these kind of details and what it is that makes a song so tasty. Now I know I'm not crazy.
Wow.
That's all I love that. Love that.
Short and simple. What was the three awards? What was that all about?
They gave us the emojis of 3 gold medals.
Oh, 3 gold medals. Okay.
So 5 stars and 3 gold medals from whoever this person is. Thank you, person who just basically banged on your keyboard for your name.
That's awesome. And thanks to each and every one of you that keeps supporting our little show. It'll be 5 years this June that we've been around because of you. We appreciate it. And also, want to thank Mr. Angelo Moore for sitting with us today, and we'll see you next week.
One Hit Thunder is a podcast where we both celebrate and have a good laugh about bands and artists that had just one hit that we all know. Each week, we're joined by a guest from the world of music or comedy to learn more than you ever thought you would about some songs that you can't forget. And we decide if they brought the One Hit Thunder or were nothing more than a one-hit blunder. Look, if you listen to the show, you're probably going to laugh, and I guarantee you're going to crush next time the bar has music trivia. Tag Team, Jane Child, Meredith Brooks, Looking Glass, Sean Mullins, Eiffel 65, EMF, Crash Test Dummies, Crazy Town, Chumbawamba. We have hundreds of episodes in our back catalog and a new episode each week, so pass the Dutchie, make sure you're connected, and subscribe to One Hit Thunder wherever you get your pods.